So SPAN basically is a switchboard analyzer wherein we use for monitoring the traffic from one port to another.
Yeah, correct. SPAN is for monitoring traffic that is coming in and going out
On the interface.
on the interface. It may be a physical interface, it may be a port channel interface, it may be an SVI, a VLAN interface, so any of this can be the interface. It need not to be one physical interface always. It can be a port channel interface, right? It can be a tunnel interface, it can be SVI. What is SVI? Layer 3 VLAN interface. VLAN is layer 2, but layer 3 interface for a VLAN is what called as SVI. So the VLAN interface can be anything. If you want to analyze the traffic that belong to VLAN 10, all VLAN 10 traffic that is going inside and outside VLAN 10. If you want to monitor, where you will go? You have to go to SVI. You need to go to the VLAN interface. So monitoring traffic that enters and leaves a physical or virtual port is what SPAN is. Switch port analyzer. Switchboard analyzer, SPAN. As we spoke now, we got a switch and we got many ports in it. We got many ports. Bad brush. We got many ports. Assume these are all ports. And this port, let's say it is connected to the internet. We want to monitor all the traffic that goes out to internet and comes in from the internet. So this is the best place to monitor. Now, someone called A here is going online. Maybe he is going to Yahoo from here. Yahoo is where? Here. So let's call Yahoo as B. From A to B, the traffic is going. The traffic should not be interrupted. The reply from Yahoo is coming. That should not be interrupted. Without interrupting the traffic, you want to see what is going and what is coming from this port. So here is the auditor who is auditing the traffic flow. So this auditor should not interrupt the traffic. A should not know he is being monitored. For that we need SPAN, Switchboard Analyzer. Switchboard Analyzer is not an auditing tool. It is not. But it helps the auditing. See, auditor has got some special tool to sniff the traffic and see. Any traffic that is coming in, he's using some like Wireshark, he is using some other advanced tools. He's auditing. Or it can be an IPS device, intrusion prevention device, which can do the auditing for you with lot of signatures. The IPS has got a lot of signatures. What is signature? It has got a lot of predefined programs that will look for anomalies. What is anomalies? Abnormalities. When a packet is received, the signature will easily identify if there is any abnormal packet. If it is abnormal packet, it will immediately generate some error message. It will generate some error message. That's called anomalies. Sorry, that's called logs. It will generate log to the administrator saying, hey, this is abnormal. So we have such a device here, assume, for auditor. But this IPS should receive all the traffic that is going between A and B. Not only between A and B, between anyone from inside. Mute someone. Someone is not mute. Please mute. Anyone from inside, when the traffic goes out, and from outside when the traffic comes in, a copy needs to go to, that is the secret, a copy. Means without interrupting the traffic, a copy of the traffic should be sent to the IPS device. To take a copy and send, we need this feature called SPAN. Switchboard analyzer. It is analyzing the port. Which port? Switchboard. It analyzes. It takes a copy, a duplicate, and send it to this port, not to any other port. So we configure saying any traffic that is coming to this port or going out of this port or both, coming and going, you have options. If you don't say anything, it is both. That needs to be sent to this port. That is our configuration that we are going to make. Yeah. There is another concept called remote span, RSPAN. In remote span, when do we need remote span? When our IPS is not local. When your IPS is connected to another switch. You got another switch here. This is a trunk port. And IPS is connected to second switch or third switch or 10th switch, that doesn't matter, on one of the port, let's say F0/40. Then you need this feature called remote span, RSPAN. Says the word says remote. We got the IPS on the remote switch. Traffic will be received from this port and it will be placed in a remote span VLAN. You can define any VLAN, let's say 800. I want to define it as remote span VLAN. That VLAN 800 is also created here and specified as remote span. So what happens? Any traffic that is entering here will be placed inside the VLAN 800. It travels on the trunk port as VLAN 800 and received as VLAN 800, and anything that is received in VLAN 800 will be forwarded to this port F0/40. So for remote span, what is needed? A VLAN is needed to carry the span traffic, to carry the duplicate traffic, to carry the mirrored traffic. A VLAN is needed to carry. A VLAN is needed to carry. Please ask me a question on this too. SPAN and RSPAN.
So this Can you repeat?
Intrusion prevention system. Intrusion means what? Intruder means what? Unauthorized person. Unauthorized packet entering into our system is prevented by this box. In other words, attacks are avoided. Attacks are avoided because IPS will easily identify attacks. Easily it will identify attacks. Intrusion prevention system, IPS. Any other question? SPAN and RSPAN. You see, we have show IP interface brief. We have almost 6-7 interfaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 interfaces, in which 2 are already in the bundle. Let's not focus on that. So forget about these 2. These 2 are trunking. Now we let's assume internet is coming on this port. We really don't have that. But let's assume. So any traffic that is coming on this port, we want to send it to this port, F1/0. Any traffic that enters into this port, we want to send it to this port. Let's see how to do it. A copy of all the traffic that is going inside and coming out of this port should be sent to this port. Let me write down here. Is the SPAN port. This is the port where sensor is connected, IPS is connected, auditing device is connected. So a copy need to be sent to this one. Sorry. Now the command goes like this: monitor session. You need to give any number. Let's see, can be any number between 1 to 66. So which means you can have 66 different SPAN ports. We are just creating only one port we are auditing. You can span up to 66 according to this version of operating system. Monitor session 1. What is the source? It will ask. Source. See, the source can be a physical interface or a VLAN interface or port channel interface. It can be anything. Source, you see, it can be interface, it can be VLAN. I'm saying monitor the interface, means interface gig 1/3. Enter. That's one line. So we have defined the source. What is next? We need to say the destination. Same command only. You just remove the source. Destination interface. Gig 1/1. That's all. Span is over. Let's verify. Show monitor session 1. What does it say? It says it's span local session. It's span. That is what local means. Both means what? Incoming as well as outgoing. It did not say incoming or outgoing. So it monitors both incoming and outgoing traffic that enters and leaves this port. And it is sending a copy to the destination port G1/0. Now let us go and change only the incoming. Let's go and change only incoming. So what I'll do, I'll remove this and I will put only receive. You see, put question mark, you have an option: transmit, receive, both is default. You can also specify some range of interface from interface 1/3 to something something, or it can be a discontinuous interface. So I'm going to say I want only receive traffic, the traffic that are coming inside from the internet. Now let's verify. Show spanning tree session 1. You see, receive only, not both. Hope you understood span. Now let's move on to remote span. For remote span, this is same. I'm not going to change this, but the destination is not on the same switch now. So I'll remove this destination. I remove this destination. The destination is in the second switch. For remote span, the destination, this is for span. This is source. And this is destination. Destination. For the span. For our span, source is same port, but the destination is on the second switch, switch 2, this interface, same gig Ethernet 000. So for that we need a span VLAN, RSPAN VLAN. Let's say the VLAN number, any number, any VLAN. Use any unused VLAN. We need to create this VLAN on both the switch first. So let me go to switch 1 and say VLAN 888 remote span VLAN. You need to define this keyword. Likewise, I'll go to switch 2 VLAN 8888 remote span. Don't forget, you have to define it on all the switches in the middle. If you have 10 switches in the middle, you have to define this on all switches in the middle. Next. Show interface trunk. I want to see whether trunk is there. No trunk. We want this middle to interface to be configured as trunk interface. Do we have port channel? Show spanning tree. We will know when there is no. You know what? We did layer 3 port channel. That's why we are not seeing G00 and G01 in the list. Let us remove that layer 3 Ethernet channel. No interface port channel. I removed it. So layer 3 Ethernet channel is no more. I'll remove it on the other switch. This we did in the previous class. And also I need to go under interface range G0/0 -1 and say shutdown, and then I should say layer 2 switch port. You remember earlier we made it as layer 3 by typing no switch port in the previous class. So I made it as layer 2 port now, and I need to say switch port trunk encapsulation .1q switch port mode trunk. I need to do this on the next switch as well. Interface range G0/0 -1 shutdown switch port switch port trunk encapsulation .1q switch port mode trunk. No shut. Done. So we are expecting the interface to come up. It has come up and it is trunking. Let us check whether we have trunk. Show interface trunk. That is good. We want to see this VLAN 888. Good. It is passing, but it is passing through, and it is good. Show interface trunk. Yeah. So we got VLAN 888, the remote span VLAN on both the switch. Now our job is go to switch 1. You remember earlier we said the source. We have said the source. Source is correct, and we are only spanning the received traffic. This is correct, but the destination is monitor session 1. Destination is not the interface but the VLAN. You see, there is an option called VLAN, remote VLAN. What is the remote VLAN number? It's 888. Yep, we are pushing to the remote VLAN. Let us verify up to here. Show monitor session 1. You see, any received traffic on this port, a copy will be sent to destination VLAN 888, which is a remote span VLAN. See, very clearly says remote source session. It is RSPAN. It is not local. Earlier we saw local, you see. Earlier it was local session, but now it is remote source session. Destination is a remote span VLAN. It is not a normal VLAN. It is a remote span VLAN 888. Now go to switch 2. Before we configure, let's see, show that nothing will be there actually. Monitor session 1. There is no monitor session 1. We are going to configure now. But VLAN is already configured. Show VLAN brief. 888 is already configured and it's a span VLAN. It's a remote span VLAN. Now we are going to make use of it. Monitor session 1 source is VLAN 888. Monitor session 1 destination. What is the port we discussed? Port is 1/1. Interface G 1/1. Boom. That's all. RSPAN is over. Let's verify. Show monitor session 1. You see, both that actually it is only going to send only received traffic, but we did not specify from the VLAN received or transmit or both, so it is taking default both. and it is sending to the local port G00. So it is taken from the local VLAN and sent to the VLAN is actually distributed, so it is considered as local only. The broadcast domain 888 of switch 1 and switch 2 is merged. That's why it shows as local. Basically it's a remote VLAN, we know. But if you want to change this to receive only, you can say that receive only. Let me cancel this. Monitor session 1 source not remote. Wait, remote VLAN. Sorry, this is how it should be. It should be like this. Earlier what I did is wrong because it's RSPAN. You need to do like this. Don't do what I did before. I just saying source VLAN. This is the correct one. Remote VLAN 888. 888. Now I no need to say transmit or receive because already we have defined on the first switch transmit or receive for the source. Whatever that send, this is going to forward. So this is the right way of doing. What I did earlier was wrong. That's why it was showing both. Now let's go and verify. There will be slight variation in other versions. Not every version is same. So keep an eye. But the concept is same. Monitor command is same. So easily you can figure out even if you are in different iOS. Show monitor session 1. You see now it very clearly says remote destination session. Source is remote span VLAN. This is very perfect. Coming from here, and destination is geeks. That's all. Span and RSPAN.